So I'm really excited about this. We're about to launch a crowdfunding campaign to raise $225,000. I know that's a lot of money.
The garden.
Yes.
So why do you like to come out here?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's really fun.
Okay.
Do so much more, and that's why we need this $225,000. What we want to do with this money is Ohio State University has pledged to increase its purchase of locally grown food by 40% by 2020. That's a huge amount of food being purchased. They've also committed to creating opportunities for families, low-income community families that have young children, primarily in Black and brown communities, to be able to sell their extra produce to Ohio State through this program.
Out of scale. You know, for us to donate to giant causes, we're not big enough to truly feel like we've made much of a difference. It's good to donate to giant causes,
Right.
And we do our share of that. There's something about a micro enterprise where we can make a substantial difference, and we're not big enough to make a substantial difference to substantial worldwide causes.
What's the money for? We want to use this money for two things simultaneously. One is to purchase FarmBots, which is an automated open source technology that allows families to have a raised bed that's then automated so that the seeds are planted, watered, and weeded. Because the problem with having not a lot of money is that usually a lack of money accompanies a lack of time. Using FarmBots, you reduce the amount of actual hours of doing this work, and it allows families with young children access to open source technology, and so that's just phenomenal.
I think it was about being able to see what your contribution can do. So often when you give to a nonprofit, you don't really get to see the direct result of what you've done. And it goes back to, I love to garden. I'd heard about the community garden movement. I thought that is terrific. Getting people involved, hands-on in growing their own food and getting food out to all the different neighborhoods, fresh produce, I thought it's just such a worthy endeavor.
Like arugula, spinach, lettuce. So we'd have 10 FarmBots, which we would place in the courtyard of the church, so we wouldn't have a problem with security. We would line the courtyard roofing with solar panels, so we would generate solar energy to run the FarmBots. Every 60 days, these 10 families would then have produce to sell to Ohio State. At the end of that first year, those 10 families would have made enough money to buy their own FarmBot for their own raised bed. We would then bring in the next group of 10 families. So in the course of 3 years, the 3 years of this grant, we would have then 30 families that now have a secondary revenue stream. And part of this program would be facilitating the development of a business plan and a vendor's contracting relationship with Ohio State.
It's so sad that this dynamic is so rare. You're describing it as if it's rare. I don't know if it's rare or prevalent. But
It's very, in our experience,
because we haven't done that much. I mean, we've done a good thing, and I'm not trying to be. Only half my humility is false. But I really don't think this is what everybody ought to be doing.
The second part of the grant that would be happening simultaneously is that the church owns 2 abandoned buildings, one of which they allow us to use for our garden because our garden is watered through an above-ground drip irrigation system that's on a solar-powered timer, which is great for water conservation and it keeps costs low. We would like to take those 2 abandoned buildings and rehab them and turn them into, in the front, a walk-up greengrocer, because as I said, the closest supermarket is 4.3 miles away. Part of those properties would be a demonstration kitchen. So we would do things like canning classes, pickling classes, preserving classes, because if growing your own food is like printing your own money, then preserving the harvest is like a savings point.